Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about how to find the future value of an anticipated annuity. A deposit of $5,500 is made at the beginning of each quarter for 2 years in a bank that pays 12% annual compound interest compounded quarterly. Find the amount in the bank account after 2 years and after 10 years. Okay, so let's recap. For after 2 years, basically this deposit of $5,500 will have been made 8 times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 times in year 1, and then 4 times again in year 2. And the bank is going to every quarter pay 12% annual compound interest as well. And so we're going to end up with more than just $5,500 times 8. So how can we figure this out? Well, for the first part, for after 2 years, we would have that A, the amount we're paying each time, is $5,500. I is the interest rate, and that's going to be 12%. However, that's the annual interest rate, and this is being compounded quarterly. So every quarter, it'll be just a fourth of that amount. So 12% divided by 4 will give us 3%. So the interest rate we're going to use here is 3% because we're calculating by the quarter rather than by the year. Then we have N, which is basically the amount of time that's passing here, the number of compounding periods. So this is going to be after 2 years, and every year there are 4 compounding periods. So therefore it's going to be 8, which actually that is something we briefly mentioned before. There's going to be 8 compounding periods here. So now I'm going to plug in these values to find the future value, to basically find out if we do this for 2 years, how much will we have at the end of those 2 years, right? And you bet it's going to be more than 5,500 times the 8 payments we made because of that compound interest. Now, maybe not that much more, in the sense that if we only do this for 2 years, it doesn't really have as much time to do that compound growth, but it will begin to, certainly, which is good. Okay, so A is 5,500. 1 plus I, that's going to be 1.03 power of 8 minus 1 all over 0.03 times 1.03. Okay, so here's what I'm going to type in the calculator. 1.03 to the power 8, hit equals, divide by 0.03, hit equals again, times 1.03, hit equals again, times 5,500, hit equals again. And that is equal to $50,375.08. And if we just do 5,500 times 8, we actually only paid 44,000 into that. And so any additional amount, the difference between that 44,000 that we paid in over the last 8 quarters or the last 2 years and 50,375 and 8 cents, the difference there is because of that interest that's been compounding. All right, so part B is very similar to this. For part B, we still have the exact same deposit amount. We're still depositing $5,500. The interest rate is still the same. The only difference is the number of compounding periods. If we're doing this for 10 years and there's 4 compounding periods a year, that means that there are going to be 40 overall, right? Because 10 times 4 per year is going to give us 40. So there's going to be 40 compounding periods now. And so we're going to see a pretty massive difference here. So in this case, future value is going to be equal to 5,500 times 1.03 to the power of 40 minus 1 all over 0.03 times 1.03. Okay, so now let's type that in the calculator. 1.03 to the power of 40 equals minus 1 equals, divide by 0.03 equals, times 1.03 equals, times 5,500 equals, let's see, $427,148 And that seems like a lot of money, especially considering that all we really did, we made a payment of $5,500 40 different times. If we multiply that, we only actually get 220,000. This is over 420,000. But here's the difference. In this case, we've been doing this for 10 years. This money has had a lot more time to grow and compound. And so a much higher percentage of this future value is from the interest gained rather than from the principal. Whereas for after 2 years, it was most of this $50,000 was just the principal, just because the interest didn't have that much time to accumulate. Now, that said, you got to start somewhere. You got to pass the 2 year mark to get to the 10-year mark. But after 2 years, you're not going to maybe see many results, and that's the reason. Okay, well, that's it for this one. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section, and I'll see you for the next one.